Thanks for hanging out with me live. If you are watching in the 1% group, or if you are watching on the stream on YouTube, please say hello in the comments. I'd love to see you. Hey, Blake, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with me in the chat box. Looking forward to chatting with you. Hi, Sue Anderson. Good to see you. Hello, Steve Dudian. Good to see you. Hey, Greg. Hey, Jason. Hey, Steve. Hey, Valentine. Good morning, Audrey. Good to see all of you. It is a beautiful Tuesday in Austin, Texas. We'll kick things off here in a second. I have a lot to chat with you guys about today. I was on a podcast yesterday that was really interesting. I'm going to share a couple of notes from there. Blake, are you under any time constraints today? Can I get to you in about 15 minutes? All right, cool. Sounds good. Good morning, Amy Jane. Good to see you. Amy, are you going to, by the way, Amy, if you want to come join us in the chat room, I'd love to follow up with you from Sunday since we didn't get to you. So if you want, I just sent a text out to the group. You can come hang out with us in the box here. Good morning, Herb. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Zin. Good morning, Spencer. Spencer, got your application yesterday. It was good to see your name pop up. This week, we announced the Capitalism Incubator. The Capitalism Incubator is a 6-month experience for entrepreneurs who are building 7-figure businesses that they can sell. And we're doing 25 spots. And yesterday, there were 125 people who signed up for the early bird notification. So that was cool. And some people, there were actually as many applications as there were spots that went through. So it was really cool to see the excitement that the community has over it. Stand by. Go ahead. Oh my. Our new kitten is in the adorable stage and is, getting into mischief, we will just say, while we're here. Good morning, Matt. I saw your application coming yesterday. It was good to see you. Good to see your name. Hey, Josh. Hey, Tiffany. Good morning. What's up, Drew? Hey, Awais. Hey, Sandeep. Good to see you. Hey, Salime. Hello, Mr. Brazina. Hello, Daniel. Good to see you. So we had 125 people sign up for early bird spots. We don't even open spots until end of next month. So now I'm sitting here going, okay, I have 25 spots. I have 125 people who first day signed up for early bird registration. What am I going to do about this? So my expectation is that this pace will probably have a few thousand people who are lined up ready for those 25 spots, and we'll see how we pick them. Well, I haven't decided yet. We just might have a kitten invasion here this morning. You know what? We haven't done the simultaneous sip yet. So before we sign off, why don't I just introduce you to Oliver? Come here, Oliver. This little mustard right here. This is Oliver. Hello. Can you say hi to the people? Say hi to the people. See? How can you hate capitalism when there's little kittens on screen? How can you do that? How can you? All right. All right. Go away, mustard. Little mustard. All right. Let's begin, shall we? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, July 28th, and I know why you're here. I know why you're here for Coffee and Capitalism. It's for something that makes everything better. It's something called the simultaneous sip. It makes everything better, including stimulus packages, the stock market, coronavirus. It makes live coffee dates better. It even makes, just so you know, there's a little tip you can use in work this week. It also makes Zoom calls better. Those annoying long-ass Zoom calls that you just can't seem to get off, it's made better by something called the simultaneous sip. It doesn't take a lot to participate. All you need is a cup or a mug or a glass or a chalice, a stein, a tankard, a thermos, a flask, a vessel of any kind. It could be a bowl. Just a bowl or whatever you want. You can fill it with your favorite liquid. In mine is something called coffee. And you just join me now for the pleasure of the simultaneous sip. Go. Oh my. Woo! Now we can begin, ladies and gentlemen. So this week we announced the Capitalism Incubator, which is a 6-month experience for entrepreneurs to build 7-figure businesses that they can sell. And my team and I are really, really jazzed about this. It's really fun to sell things when you really believe in what you got. I was sharing with some people on the 1% call this past Sunday about how we were playing with this idea of, does money equal freedom? And I made the argument that money does not equal freedom. In fact, if you believe that money equals freedom, then you will always feel not free, because whoever is in control of your money is the person who can control your freedom. And so we operate our lives from this place of not freedom when we believe that more money equals freedom. That's not the case. If you want to make a lot of money, then you have to believe that whatever it is that you have to offer provides more freedom for the other person. Whatever it is that you have to sell or offer must be, your perspective of it must be at least that the other person who is purchasing it is increasing their own freedom as a result of them exchanging with you. When you can operate in that mode, then you can have all the money and freedom that you want, because it is not money that equals freedom. It is the thing that you have created that creates freedom for other people, and therefore it all flows to you. That's when it is really fun and easy to scale and make sales. And I tell you that story because my team and I really feel that way about the experience that we've created for this thing called the Capitalism Incubator, where we're going to be working with entrepreneurs to grow to that point where they have profitably launched and have the foundation for something that is a 7-figure business that they can sell. And so we're doing this first round. I had planned to do this big kind of industry launch for the incubator, and a mentor kind of beat me up a bit over that, saying that was my ego talking, wanting the attention and glamour of going really big and having a few hundred people in there from the get-go. And they convinced me to do it on a very small scale, to do between 10 and 25 people, rather than going out and doing 250 people, which is what I wanted to do from the get-go. And so I announced it to the list yesterday that we're going to be doing this experience, that we're going to be working with people to vet their idea, to help them launch, to bring in the resources that we have, and basically hold them accountable over the next several months to be able to launch profitably and have this foundation. So we announced it yesterday, and I had 125 people sign up for the early bird notification, and over 20 people went through the actual process of applying within the first day. So now I'm in this position of, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. I'm only going to take 25 people. How am I going to do this in a way that is fair and not stressful? But it's really great to see that the thing that we believe is going to have an impact on so many people is also something a lot of people see as an increase to their own freedom. So if you want to find out more about what we're doing over there, that's at capitalism.com/inc. Capitalism.com/inc, INC, for the Capitalism Incubator. And there's full details on that page if you want to get in line for when that opens. Now, today I want to share with you something that came up on a podcast that I did yesterday. It was a really great podcast. It was on the Hustle and Flowchart podcast. Should go live over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure we'll share it on our channels as well. But the question was asked, how do you maintain happiness and satisfaction while also having a lot of desire for more? And it was a great question because the three people who were on the call had all made a certain amount of money, had reached a certain level of success, and were all experiencing this very first world problem of asking the question, what now? What do you do once you have made what you think it is that you want to do? And the conversation went very deep, very esoteric, and very helpful all at the same time. And so I want to share a strategy that I use in order to stay in the same place of desire and contentment, which is a very rare place to have both. And it is the difference between habits and goals. Here's how most people go about deciding what they want to accomplish and what they're going to focus on. Most people look at what they do not have, and then they set up a strategy or a system to get what it is that they want to fill the gap. So I don't have enough money. I want to have $1 million. Now I will create the bridge between what I want and where I want to be. But what usually happens is, for some reason, even if our strategy is bulletproof, the goal tends to elude us. It tends to almost be pushed away by that effort. And so we stay in this constant gap all of the time. Dan Sullivan calls it the gap of running from where you used to be, the destination tends to move. And so I like to flip it on its head, reverse the whole thing. And it's simply this. Instead of trying to close the gap, it is looking at where I want to be and making the decision from that place, setting the habit from that place versus setting the habit of trying to get to where I want to be. Here's a great example. In our conversation, we use the example of weight loss. In weight loss, most people say, I want to lose 20 pounds. So what I will do is I will do 2 workouts a day until I have closed this gap. And then when they get to their goal, it's, well, crap, what do I do now? I'm here. I worked myself to death to get here. And most people can't maintain that pace in the first place. So the flip on the whole thing is this. When you are at your goal weight, how will you eat and how will you move your body? No one asks this question. When you have reached the goal, how will you operate? In business, the question is often, I want to make a certain amount of money so that then I can do the thing that I want to do. But very few people answer the question, what is the want to do after you have reached the goal? Now, if you can play this thought train out, if you can cast this out and go to the place of what happens when you've achieved the goal, and you can identify the habits that you will have in that place, and you start to do those now, the goal will happen faster. So for example, I was telling a friend of mine, I weigh about 180 right now. I'm at the end of a bulk and I want to drop down to about 160, 165. I know exactly what to do. And I get on this hot streak of, 5-6 days. I look pretty damn good. And then, one night of cookies and it's all over. Right? So I now discover that I can maintain that hustle for about 5 to 7 days. And then I have to use a lot of willpower in order to keep that going. Willpower that I just don't have right now. So the flip on the whole thing is realizing that I don't have to lose 15 pounds. I have to maintain 165. That's the difference. Because if I can think at 165 and think, how will I eat at 165? I will probably eat this balance of food. I'll have dessert once in a while. I probably won't do a lot of cardio, but I'll go for a lot of long walks. And I'll probably weight train 4 days a week. I'll probably do that to maintain 165. That's what you should do now. That's the diet. The diet is how you will maintain 165. Or if you want to make $1 million so that then you can start the business of your dreams. When you start the business of your dreams, you will make the $1 million. Now, this is different for each of us, which is why this is hard listening to somebody else's experience. We often try to see somebody else's experience and pull it into our own, but we have a different context through which we're operating. The way you end up getting the result that it is that you want is by casting ahead to what it is that you do want and making the decision from that place. How am I going to eat today? How am I going to run my business today? How am I going to show up today? How am I going to be present in what I am doing from the place of already having what it is that I think I want? Because all of us really want, at the end of the day, ease, joy, flow, focus, connection, creativity. And we are holding back most of those because we think that we have to hold back things in order to grind towards what we want. But the opposite is actually true. The more that we can allow those things to flow through us from the place of right now, then we have the energy and the resources to be able to go get what it is that we want. That's my esoteric lesson for today. Let me rant to you about Republicans. This damn stimulus bill, let me tell you, October 3rd, 2007. I remember the day. I remember the day because it was my birthday. It was my birthday. I was in college, and I ran through the halls of the Student Center at Indiana Wesleyan University, yelling, "Sweet liberty, the stimulus bill failed." They passed a stimulus bill in 2007, but the first one failed. And I said, thank God we have learned our lesson not to bail out people when things get hard. And yet here we are 13 years later, and we're about to pass. Now the Republicans proposed another stimulus package, another redistribution of other people's money. It is all the same. Democrats, Republicans, they all take from one group, redistribute to another group, and run us into more debt. The only way we will ever succeed is when we finally say, I opt out of this system. I opt out of waiting for other people to do my bidding on my behalf, and you finally take responsibility for what you want. It's our only way. And everyone eventually gets the lesson. Everyone eventually runs into enough pain where they realize that other people are not coming to save you, and other people are not responsible for what you create. Only you are. So I have voted Republican most of my life. I am so pissed at the fact that we are yet again taking other people's money and redistributing it for the economy. It never works. It never has worked. It never will work. Just get out of the way. Today, this morning, was the first day that I was ever like, maybe there's something to this cryptocurrency thing. Because all of this money that the politicians are taking from one group and redistributing to other people, it's not real. It's not real money anymore. Maybe I need to move my money out of where other people can control it and into a place where I have some say. And that's saying something when somebody who has been this outspoken about cryptocurrency is like, I think I might trust the money that has no meaning than the money that is controlled by government. So that's what's on my mind today. Blake, can I bring you on? Give me a thumbs up if you are ready. Let's do this. Good morning, Blake. How's it going?
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing great, Blake. What can I do for you?
Sorry, you were cutting out there. Well, nice to meet you, first of all.
You as well. Great to meet you.
I had a question about marketing on Instagram and YouTube. So I started an online boutique about 2.5 months ago. Okay. And I'm sorry, I think there's a delay. So I started.
There is. It'll catch up. Unfortunately, StreamYard always has a guinea pig of who's going to deal with the delay, and you're it today. But it'll catch up.
So I started it 2.5 months ago, and I had been listening to your how to reach 100K per month in 6 months. And I started implementing your Facebook advertising strategy where you reach out to an international audience first and use that as social proof to get the American audience. And even though I was unlimited to do that, I was able to start building a following on Facebook just putting there with what you said. I tried doing the same thing on Instagram. Which I started using about a month ago. And similar idea, post simple message. And at the bottom, it says visit the profile here. I got a lot of likes on the post itself at 1,400, I think, at this point. But only like a handful of people transitioned over to the profile and started to follow. I know there's a way to target people that have just liked your posts. I got to figure out how. I honestly don't know how. But I'm just wondering if there's an effective way that what kind of message I might, and the format I might want to go with to reach out to those people that I would like to transition over to following. Maybe.
Yeah. So Blake, let me ask you this. So you're putting a lot of effort into the gathering of followers. What's the end goal of having all of those people follow you? What do you want them to do after they're engaged?
I want to be able to cultivate an audience that's really interested in what I'm doing. It's a boutique where I'm offering fair trade accessories like hats, purses, jewelry, and they're all handmade by women artisans that are located in economically developing countries like
Awesome.
Guatemala, rural parts of India,
Awesome.
Kenya, and I'm really passionate about that. In addition to how fair trade is connected to sustainability and the environment. So the topic or the theme, I don't know what you want to call it, for my boutique is something I'm already really passionate about. And I want to pull people in that are also passionate about that and be able to reach out to them with these products and offer them to them because they are, I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm selling them, but they really are beautiful and they're all handmade.
So I have never been able to crack the nut of running advertisements on Instagram to get followers. But Instagram is an amazing traffic source for email subscribers. And that's where I would recommend that you put focus and let your organic posts of the boutiques be the thing that gets you the followers. So you have to think about Instagram as a traffic source rather than a conversion source. It's a great place to get attention, but keeping the attention on Instagram happens through the organic posts. So it would be my recommendation that you put your focus on gathering followers from the organic stuff that you post, the pictures of the products that you're selling, telling the story of the people who made it. And then I would be using the ad platform on Instagram to send over people to an email subscription. That's how I would do this. But in your case, you might even be able to skip the ad part because your end transaction is so clear. It's buying what it is that you have in the store that I would just be taking pictures of the stuff that you've got, telling the story of it in the Instagram post, and putting most of your attention on that in-post text, and watch what happens when you're actively telling the emotional story of the person who is behind the creation of that product.
So showing the product, I'm sorry, it's really, I think you said showing the product and the emotional connection behind each product, talking about maybe where it's made, who they're made by, and how, like, just also talking perhaps about how fair trade and sustainability help with women's empowerment. I did notice that my most popular posts were about women's empowerment as well as sustainability. So kind of zeroing in on that and how it relates to the product.
Blake, what's your Instagram?
Fair Trade by Nature.
Fair Trade by Nature. All right, I'm looking you up. So this is interesting. I was getting a sniff test for your Insta right now.
Don't judge too harshly. I'm branded.
So here's what I'm noticing. Here's what I'm noticing. The products that you sell. Okay, so there's one post that I just found that has to do with the products that you sell, and it's your most liked post. So the like political stuff, the even the empowerment stuff is all great. It's like what you believe in. It's really why you're doing this. It's the driver behind why you do what you're doing. And so it wouldn't be right for me to tell you not to do that, but to grow the business side of it, I think that the best thing you can do is show what you've got and the story behind those products. Just like you did with this hammock post. This hammock post from July 3rd, where you're actually just showing the picture of the product and talking about why it's important and how it was made. It's your most liked piece. And if I were you, I'd be thinking, like, the world has kind of come to you. The world wants to support ideas and causes like the one you've got. And if I were you, I would just be pulling back the curtain a little bit more and showing them what you got and how you got it made and how that purchase is going to support somebody. And I think that will grow the audience and the following. I mean, that post itself has 200 likes on a 75 person audience. That's good. You look confused, Blake. Am I cutting out or am I confusing you?
Oh no, I was pausing because I had fewer. Yeah, you're out, but I did. Thank you. Like I said, kind of new with Instagram, and honestly, before this, I barely used it. So yeah, I appreciate being able to have talked to somebody outside because I'm kind of not really sure is actually going to work and what is not, because I'm kind of still really new at it. So you think focusing on the products and the appeal with supporting the artisans is the way to go, like that one?
I do. And the other thing that I would work into this is I would start reaching out to people who have followings of 10,000 or less, people who have followings of like 8,000, 9,000, who are talking about a lot of the same things that you are, and send them your stuff. Just send them free product and just be like, I really like what you were doing. I wanted you to have this. This is a great story behind it. I just thought you would enjoy it. Thanks so much for the content that you post. You'll be amazed at how responsive people are when they have that small of a following and you reach out with just a pure give. No ask, no promote my stuff. You just send them some support. Watch how fast the tides turn in your favor. If you do those two things where you're posting about the product and you're reaching out to those like very, very micro influencers, that will build your audience probably faster than anything you're doing right now.
When you said, so if I do that, like with advertising and reaching influencer, how do I transition that to getting emails in order to build a list?
So you'll build an email list with swipe up ads on Instagram, which right now, Blake, I don't think that you are ready to do this, because even if we got the emails, what would you do with them right now? So I wouldn't put any attention into taking people to a different platform. I would put all of your attention on selling what it is that you've got. I want to see you get some like momentum in the form of sales before you worry about scaling this thing. And you can go take a sale today. You can take a picture of one of the things that you got, write a little story about it, post it on Instagram, and have a customer today. You could reach out to an influencer with 8,000 followers who talks about the same stuff as you and send them some of your stuff today. And those little micro wins are going to build up momentum real quickly, versus trying to build this long ass system of how do I get followers and email addresses is going to put sales in the future when you've got the opportunity to get them right now. And I think if you focus on where you are right now, then you'll be able to have the impact that you want to make, which is more people seeing your content, you being more influential in the movements that you're excited about. And I think that will give you the firepower to move forward.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Cool.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Great to meet you, Blake.
Have a good day. Thanks.
All right, you too. All right, Phil and Curtis, I can see you in the room, but I can't see your faces. So if you want to chat, please turn your video on. There's Phil. Phil, give me a thumbs up if you are ready to come on here. You're not. Okay. You look like you're changing a diaper right now. I'm just going to pretend that Phil is changing a diaper while he's doing this. And Kurt, if you turn your video on, I'd be happy to bring you on. Good morning, Nate Trejo. Good to see you as always. I have no idea what you look like. I just know the things that you post on my wall. And boy, do I know Nate Trejo. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Paul. Paul, my mastermind's good. Ezra Firestone has a good one. Any ones that are actually meeting in person right now. If you're not a member of the 1%, quit kidding around and join us in the 1%. That should answer your question. Kurt, I'm waiting on you. We're waiting for waiting for Phil to stop changing the diaper. But Kurt, I know you hear me. I'm just waiting on you, bud. Well, then, while they're kidding around, let's talk about the stock market. Pull up some charts. Actually, haven't looked at much today, so I'll be going fresh with fresh eyes here. Stand by. There we go. All right, let's talk about the stock market. So today, we're down about 100 points. Last week, we were right around 26,000. Then we bumped up to 27,000. I predicted that we were going to continue to go up. So far, we are down a few hundred points, but we still have this really, really strong support between 26 and 26.3. So I think we'll continue to see that come up. It's taken longer than I expected, but I think I still think we're in bullish territory for the next couple of weeks. I bought MasterCard. How did MasterCard do? MasterCard up, but not a lot. Down a little bit today. So it's kind of held steady. I live on the show last week. I bought Home Depot stock at 262. So we're up to 266 right now, and I am still holding this till it's at least at around 270, which looks to be the next level of resistance. Facebook has been the surprise for me. Facebook has come way down. I was wrong on Facebook, and now Facebook is in some dangerous territory where it either needs to pop way up or it's going to keep kind of coming down. So I've been wrong on Facebook, but I would happily buy a lot of Facebook stock. If I could buy only one stock, I would strongly consider it being Facebook. Procter and Gamble was another one we looked at last week, which has popped way up. We were looking at it at 125 because it has this level of support right at 125. It's popped up, and we'll see around 130 is when I'll make an assessment about whether or not to buy Procter and Gamble. What else is on my watch list this week? Microsoft was another one, and T-Mobile. Here's T-Mobile. T-Mobile is flat. It's been flat for almost a month. I keep waiting for it to have a big pop up. I'm sure as soon as I sell it, it will have a big pop up. Microsoft is another. I bought Microsoft and I'm getting creamed on Microsoft, not going to lie. I've been wrong. I bought Microsoft at 210 and it's come way down to 202. I am still holding it because there's this very strong level of support at 200, and I'm waiting for this to pop back over this area of resistance and go forward again. So we shall see. And then the other is Wayfair. I've been eyeing Wayfair because of the scandal, because when crazy scandals get a lot of noise, that often means there is a opportunity for a buying opportunity, and we're sitting here flat right around 225, which is interesting because the previous 6 months saw Wayfair go from $25 to $225, a 10 times return, and we've been flat for the last month. And so I am eyeing Wayfair as a possible buying opportunity as it pops up and probably goes up. So those are my stocks that I am trading this week. What's my take on movie theater stock? Oh, I guess I'll stop sharing my screen here. What's my take on movie theater stock like AMC? I am avoiding. They're a middleman and they have no more purpose. So people can just stream movies now. So why wouldn't they? That segment with Blake was really interesting. Keep it simple and reach to people and get sales. Yes. Most of us make it way too hard for us to get what it is that we want. Amy, come into the chat box or come into the chat room. I would love to bring you up. I know we missed you the other day, so I would love to chat with you. Phil, are you ready for me? Give me a thumbs up if so. All right, let's do this. Good morning, Phil. How are you?
Morning. No diapers here, but
it's good to meet you. What's up?
I don't really have any questions. I'm just trying to jump in and follow your daily or your whatever.
Thanks, man.
Every other day shows. And
where are you dialing in from?
I'm in Central Oregon.
What is life like for you right now?
Central Oregon is great. The Portland area sucks, but
yes, it does.
That's why I'm over here and not there.
Would you explain this to us, Phil, for those of us who don't live in Oregon, the difference between living in Portland versus the rest of Oregon? What is that difference like?
Well, I've never lived in Portland, but Portland is I would say like living in LA, in a big city where there's lots of people, and I don't know. I have no interest in living in a big city. Central Oregon, where I'm at, is only about 90,000 people, and we have everything outdoors. It's mountains, the rivers, the lakes. People come here for quality of life, not to work a lot.
And is it like is there a major culture difference between those who live in the city and outside the city?
Yes. Portland, if you want to characterize it, is very liberal. Central Oregon is not as liberal. Mm-hmm. Obviously there's going to be a mix of everyone, but people here are more interested in going out and playing than working and having fun. And even during the lockdown, the bike trails were just crazy crowded because everyone was out having fun.
Yeah.
Even though, so that's the big difference, and that's the reason why we moved here from California.
And is the divide or the sentiment in Portland as bad as people say it is? As bad as the news says it is?
I honestly don't know. I don't know anyone that lives in Portland, and I never go there because I don't like it.
Well, tell us a little bit about your business, Phil.
I'm actually in real estate.
Tell us more.
I'm an investor. I buy single family, but not anymore. I'm actually transitioning to industrial space and self-storage.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So I guess the only question I would have is, because I just bought a storage facility 2 weeks ago that's has some vacancy, and other than doing, I guess, Google AdWords or anything like that to try and fill up the spaces, it's a small rural town in Eastern Oregon. Would you have any other online marketing suggestions for that?
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the space and the type of person who would rent it or buy it.
Well, they're just small garages. Self-storage. Probably, they're 50 or 150 square feet. It's in Eastern Oregon. It's a town of 5,000, but it's a connecting town. It's right on the border of Idaho, and there's a lot of traffic that goes through there. I'm just getting to know the demographics of the actual tenants since we just took over, and I'm actually compiling the list because the previous owner did a horrible job of tracking everything. But I would imagine it's just all the local people there's mobile home parks around there.
Okay.
So I think that's a good target because they have limited space available and like to have extra things. So I'm guessing that's the actual demographic of who I'm looking for right now.
Do you know anything about the existing storage lessees or like the people who currently use? Yes.
No, I'm slowly learning about them. I've been talking to the current manager, and she tells me a little bit about each tenant, but she only has limited interaction with them. She doesn't because they usually just come in and pay their rent. They don't really socialize and hang out. So I'm not sure. I'm still learning all that with them. Yeah.
So, I appreciate the fact that you're stumping me with the idea of storage units where no one lives is a tough one. Right?
Well, the thing is that all the other ones in town are pretty full. So there's definitely, and that's why I got it. There is a demand for it. It's just this one is poorly managed. There's no advertising at all, and the property needs work too before I can rent out some of the additional units.
Okay, so a lot of what I believe in is harder in a situation like this. But what I believe in is finding out who the ideal person is. Phil, can you mute yourself when you're not talking? There's a horrible feedback. Thank you. So everything that I believe in is finding out exactly who the ideal person is which we don't know yet, which makes it a little bit difficult. And then finding out where they hang out, in this case, is probably direct mail. And then coming up with the unique proposition for why we're different, we're a better solution than what they're doing right now. And so we just don't know enough about that customer to be able to fill in those gaps. Now, if we're in a major metropolitan area, then what I'm doing is I'm finding who wants to pay the most for storage. And that's usually people who are moving, people who are downsizing, or people who are going through some sort of a life change. And then I'm finding out where they're hanging out in a major metropolitan area. That's often like local podcasts, local, like in Austin, it's do512.com. It's like local what to do type of sites. There are local influencers. I'm going to very micro places that my ideal person follows. And then I'm talking about the challenge that I know my ideal person is facing, which in today's world would be something around either downsizing or upsizing for COVID. Right? People in Austin, there's a major transition of people moving out of downtown and moving into the suburbs. And so the demand for storage is on people who are moving because they are either downsizing or consolidating. By consolidating, I mean 3 families into a big house, right? That's actually what I'm doing right now, right? Like I've just bought a huge house outside of Austin where I am bringing people that I know and my family into one place. So that's like the opposite of downsizing. It's consolidating. So that is how I do it in my local space. I don't know if that's the case in Eastern Oregon. My guess is that Eastern Oregon is going to boom because there is going to be a massive exit out of all downtowns over the next few years. And so part of me wants to tell you that the target market in the medium term is not people who are in Eastern Oregon. It's people who are about to be moving to Eastern Oregon, right? And so if your full-time business was I do storage units in Eastern Oregon, then I would be talking about how do you set up Eastern Oregon to look attractive to people who are ready to get the hell out of Portland. But if this is just a side thing, then it's not worth you doing all of that effort into doing that. So we're a little bit caught there, but I think that your ideal person is going to end up being the person who's moving further away from the city, is looking to consolidate into more land and more space, is in transition, is going to keep their stuff for a year or longer, and we need to get in front of them now versus once they have already moved to Eastern Oregon.
Got it. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. So this is, I guess this would be more side business for this specific location. I'm looking all over Oregon for facilities, and this just happened to pop up on the radar. This is a smaller complex, so it's not like I'm going to corner the Eastern Oregon market. Now, maybe in a couple of years, who knows? Maybe I'll reach out and see if the other people want to sell, the other owners.
Well, I will tell you, I am of a very strong belief that we are at the end of, we're at least we're on the downslide of major metropolitan areas, and that there is going to be a huge move out of the cities into the suburbs, and that businesses like yours are going to benefit from a lot of that. And the earlier that you can get in front of people before they make their move, the longer term they'll be a client and a customer of yours.
There's already a big move from big cities like the Bay Area or coming up to Central Oregon because everyone enjoys it, and they're now seeing that they don't have to be in the Bay Area for their work.
Yeah.
So they can, once they figure out how to work remotely, they can live wherever they want, and they come up to our area for the lifestyle. So yes, I agree. That's definitely going to happen.
Cool, dude. Well, good luck with the new venture. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you very much.
You bet. I just want to emphasize, I really do believe that we're about to see a mass movement out of the cities and into suburbs over the next couple of years. To me, it's just absolutely inevitable. I got into a debate with someone just a few days ago about whether or not the world's getting more liberal or more conservative. And one of my arguments was that we're actually seeing cities are mostly liberal, most big cities are more liberal than more rural areas. But what you are about to see is a massive spillover of that population into more rural places. And when you go out of a big city and go into a rural area, you tend to melt into the surrounding areas and beliefs. And so I think that we're going to see less government over the next few decades. We're going to see less demand for intervention in our lives, more respect for autonomy and personal freedom. I think that the world is getting more and more free, more and more liberated, and this is just the next stage of that. Amy, I'm kind of holding out for you, hoping that you come join us inside of the group, but I don't see you hanging out, so we might just wrap this up. CJ says that he did storage units a couple of years ago and marketed to people in transition, like people who are going through divorces. So advertising to those demographics was helpful for him. Clement Juan says if you can make moving easy, that's where people are less price sensitive. Clement, why are you not at my house right now? Tiffany uses local websites to find storage units. Hi, Yasmin. Hi, Drew. Hi, Amanda. All right, team. That's really all I got today. If you want to work with me and my team over the next 6 months to build a 7-figure business that you can sell, go over to capitalism.com/inc, INC. We're taking applications for the next round of the Capitalism Incubator. What else? We're going to be raising the price on the 1% here shortly. Don't know when, but soon. I'm really pumped about where the group is going. So thank all of you who are always so active, always here on my lives, always come on Sunday. It's really fun to talk about business and investing with you. Amy, I see your comment. I'll just reach out to you personally and we'll chat that way. All right, guys, good to see you. I will talk to some of you on Thursday. Have a great week. Take care.